Alright, today I'm going to paint a cosmos flower. I'm going to start off by drawing the basic shape of it. So get yourself a pencil. I'm working on, this paper is acid-free, cold press. It's stuck together around the edges, so I don't need to tape it down. It will stay flat while I paint. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw it out here and you can follow along. So the one I'm doing has 8 petals. So I think I'll start off with the kind of the center of it, just in a kind of a ball shape. I'm not pressing too hard because I want to erase this and get rid of the lines. And I think petal is going to be about this size, and they kind of overlap each other a little bit, and the edges are a little bit bumpy. They kind of come to a bit of a point. I'm going to go this way a little bit, and then one in front of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do one at the edge here. Slightly different shape because it's kind of the edge that we're looking at. So it's a little bit shorter. And then this one would kind of be a bit of a different shape as well, because it's kind of the angle we're at. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think that works. So it's going to be kind of facing this way. So this ball that would, yeah, the angle is it's facing right a little bit. We're going to do a stem that'll come down probably about here. Pretty simple stem. And then I want to, so I'm going to make this the focus, and then I'm going to do some in the background, just that are not in focus. So I'm just going to add in a stem here. And just lightly put in a shape so I know when I'm painting where I want that stem to be. Actually, I'm not going to paint any, I don't think I'm going to, draw in any other stems right now, because I'm going to do the background with the paint and then do it wet on wet so it kind of blends together. I'm going to use a size 10 round brush here, my water and my paint, and first of all I'm just going to kind of go over the paper. Oh, I've got a hair sticking out there, but not on this main flower. I want to go around that, because right now I'm just going to do the background, and I want to keep this, preserve the color of the paper, so I'm not adding color where I don't want to. So I'm just going to splash it all on pretty loosely. I don't want the edges to have a harsh line, so I'm going to leave those kind of uneven. Okay, put quite a lot of water on. And now I'm going to add in some blues and some greens. Some blue at the top for some sky-ish effects. Pretty generic. And I'm letting the water do a lot of this work, just keeping this main flower as dry as I can. I mean, honestly, I'm not being super, super careful, but I do want to preserve the paper there as much as possible. And, you know, obviously the nature of the way sky is, you're going to have a stronger color at the top of the blue. It's probably going to fade out as you go down. I want to try and keep it even across the page as well, as far as the color and the hue. So we're kind of getting down here, and there's not a lot of blue there at all now, which is just fine. I think that's okay. Now I want to add in some green along the bottom. And now you can't see this because I'm off camera, but I'm actually mixing a couple of greens together so I can get a green that I'm happy with. So I'm just going to drop in some green here. I think we'll go up as far as the bottom of this flower. And then I'm gonna just kind of do a line there to show the ground, the earth, and then the same on the other side of the stem. We're just giving the illusion that there's some kind of greenery going on in the background. I think I'm gonna change my brush, go to a smaller one. This is a 6. And I'm gonna put in this stem here. I want it to be a slightly different color than this green. So I'm just gonna go over that line I originally drew. It's not super wet on the page anymore, so yeah, it's kind of dried out a bit more than I was hoping. But I'm just going to drop some color in here to give the illusion of that same pink. This is the same pink I'm going to use for my flower. And then I want to also add some other stems along, you know. Another one over here. I just want to do some more stems. That's going off the page. I'm just trying to balance the picture out a little bit. Maybe a stem coming from behind here. If it's coming from behind, it's got to go somewhere, so maybe down like this. Maybe we'll add a bit more pink to that one. See, I've got a little bit of this ballooning around the water here. These blooms that I wasn't really looking for, but oh well, that's okay. See if I can blend them out a little bit. See, this is what happens when you don't really plan before you start painting. And that is okay, right? That is okay. All right, when this dries, with any luck, it won't look terrible. Okay, we're going to focus on this one here now. So, these flowers, I want to do this same pink around these petals here, but then when we come to the center, this part around here is going to be quite a vibrant, deep color, and then the very center is going to be yellow. So I think what I'm going to do is drop the color in from the outside edge, paint it just with a clean brush, and then drop the color in and let the water just do its thing as it moves inward, and then drop that deeper center color in, and then we'll do the middle bit. We might leave it to dry before we do that. I haven't decided yet. I decide these things as I go along and figure out what I want to do. So I'm just going to paint these petals in with water first. I probably should have gotten clean water before I started this, but that is okay. So hopefully you are following along with me and able to do your own version of this. It's not going to look exactly the same as mine, and that's a good thing. Everybody does different things, and that's how it should be. Put your own spin on it, your own flair, maybe a different color, maybe positioned differently. Make it your own. Okay, I don't want to wait too long with this because I want the water to still be able to run. So I'm going to drop in that pink now, just taking straight pink out of the palette, and I'm going to paint around the edge. Ooh, that's actually way more vibrant than I was expecting. All right, let's go around the edge, see what happens. I'm going to pick up some of this color, put it over here. See, that's drying out already. Dang it. I have to move a little bit faster, I think. Okay. I think I'm going to go down the edges as well to try and separate the petals a bit more. And these cosmos flowers do actually have a sort of line along the petals going this way. Let's try this and see how this looks. I don't want it to be a completely solid color. I want to give that illusion of lines. So maybe if we leave just a little bit of white space, we'll be able to pull that off. You have to move quite quickly though, because it's drying quite fast. Okay. All right, and now in the middle, I want to make this color a bit more vibrant, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of a kind of scarlet color that I have on my palette already. I'm going to just drop it in like this and see what happens. So I'm just dropping it in where I see I've already got the paint. If I drop it onto the paper that doesn't have paint, it's not going to do much. Okay, it's kind of traveling up a little bit, and that's good. I think I want it actually a little bit darker than that. This is just some straight paint from the palette. Instead of mixing it with the pink, I'm just using it straight from the actual pan. That's more of the color I was looking for. Okay, I don't really want to pull it too far up the flower. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the center. I'm going to switch to a slightly smaller brush. So this is, now this one doesn't actually have a number on it, but I'm pretty sure this is about a number 4. And I'm going in with a sort of orangey yellow color for the middle. I'm just going to paint that straight on. Now I want to give it a bit of shadow down here because I want this flower to look like it's sort of facing this way. So we're going to make it a little bit darker on this edge. And I'm just dropping the color in little dots. I don't want it to be a really solid color or a solid line. Okay. Okay, I also want to drop in some black around the very edges. Now I have black straight from the pan here. Let's see how this looks. If I pull it out like this, I do want it to blend a little bit, and the paint is the paper is still a little bit wet, so that's good. It matters what direction you paint in, so think about that before you actually drop the paint on. I want it to help show these petals are kind of leaning a certain way. It just helps the painting not to look quite so flat. Gives it a little bit more depth down in the center of the flower. Okay, I'm going to do some little dots of black now around the bottom of the center. Again on this side where I dropped the orange in before. Okay, now the middle of this flower has like little bits that stick out of the center, and I'm gonna try not to completely screw this up now and paint them on. I might regret doing this because I haven't let it dry completely, but we'll see. Okay. I am finding these are a bit too solid in color with the pink. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that same really skinny brush with some water on and see if I can create some lines, some white lines by lifting the paint. So I've just got water on the brush. I'm just going to literally brush over it with water and then wipe it on my paper towel to see if I can lift anything off. Yeah, it's not really doing much. Depending on the paper you use, that makes, oh, that lifted. That makes a big difference, I find. Some will lift a little better than others. I want to give a bit more definition to each petal by lifting the color around it. You might have been way smarter than me and not done such heavy color. Although, yeah, this was a little bit more vibrant than I had quite expected, which just goes to show I didn't plan very well. But you know what? That's the beauty of painting, right? You experiment and you might love it, you might hate it, or it might just be okay. Okay. I still want a deeper color around the middle here. It's kind of blended out into nothing. I think I'm going to use a bit more of a red color. I'm just putting it on with that tiny skinny little brush. I just need something that's a little bit more in contrast with the pink that's there. This might do it for me. Just seeing if I can lift some of this color at the edge here. Of course, it's a lot easier to not paint it to begin with than to have to lift color after. So if you get anything from this video, you can learn from me what not to do. But you know, it's good because then the next time I do it and I use this color, I'll remember that this pink is very vibrant. And you certainly don't need a lot of it. Unless you're going for a really vibrant look, of course. And then go ahead and use loads. Okay, I'm going to add the stem in. So I'm going to go back to my number 4 brush. And take my green. Drop it into that white space that I had left. I'm not loving the pink that's happening elsewhere on the page. I definitely think I put too much on. So I'm going to blot some out. Excuse the background noise. I'm just going to take some paper towel and scrunch it up. And I'm going to dab out some of this extra color because that is just way, way too much. I wanted this to be very subtle in the background, and that is anything but subtle. Same with this one down here. Just take off that extra moisture. This one's good. I like how it's kind of light. I'm going to go back to that big brush that I started with and see if I can blend the edges a little bit, because it's just too much. I am learning that this pink does not like to come up once it has dried, which is really good to know for future use. Usually with watercolor you can blend it out quite well, but blend out the edges. But yeah, look at that. That is really not wanting to move. Doing a nice job of making the sky pink, which may blend it a little bit, but there we go. That's okay. Let's see what we can do with this one down here. Maybe blend it into the green a bit. Or you know what? I could just accept that it is what it is. And that's okay too. This one blended quite nicely. All right, how are we doing? I do still wish I had some more white left on some of these petals, especially in between to give separation. But maybe I'll just go the other way and actually add some darker lines to give the separation instead of the light. I guess these can come in all kinds of colors, right? So I think I'm going to use that same pink, but straight from the pan. And just define the edges of these petals a bit more. Help them to stand out a little bit. They have kind of bumpy edges. sometimes when you're painting something, the end results end up being quite different than what you had envisioned, and that's okay. Just show the curve of the petal a bit with these lines. Okay, the last thing I want to do is add some yellow. Oh, lost my reference picture. Add some yellow dots to the ends of these little black bits. Now the color I'm using is the same as the yellow in the middle, so let's see how well this shows. Okay. You know, I'm still not happy with that middle. I still want a brighter color, a deeper color right around that middle there. I'm just going to go for it here. At this point, what have I got to lose, right? So I'm just taking that pink straight from there, straight from the pan. Trying to go the direction of the petal. Now with some water, I'm just gonna blend the edges out a little bit. I don't want to end up with puddles and big blooms, but I do want to blend it just a tad. All right, I think we're gonna leave this to dry and see what we end up with. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, well here it is all dried up. As you can see, I added in some extra just green around it. I felt like it just needed to be something a little more wild looking. So a few more stalks and some extra little green bits, and yeah, I put a little bit more definition on the flower, and there it is. It's a good practice piece. I mean, this is nothing spectacular, but it's always good to practice, play around with the paints that you have, and see how they react and behave on different paper, right? Because they honestly different paints and different paper, the combination of them can really react in different ways that you're not expecting. So have fun experimenting with yours, and drop a comment and let me know if you tried this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.